Drill instructors, drill sergeants of Reddit. What's the funniest thing you've seen a recruit do that you couldn't laugh at? Had one recruit paying attention to a bunch of geese rather than us. Made him get up and chase them all away. As they flew in the air, we made him follow them for several hundred feet to make sure they wouldn't come back. I was dying of laughter on the inside. Didn't know recruits were permitted to participate in joint training exercises with Canadian Special Forces. Was never a DI, but I can pass along a classic boot camp story. I was in the Navy, and in the Navy, your final inspection as a division is before the division officer, which is usually some junior officer puke that got assigned that job, but we didn't know any better. Anyway, before the inspection, one of our RDCs, that's what we called the DI in the Nav, found a locker out of sorts and decided to beat us in our dress blues. That was not fun, let me tell you. Wool uniforms. If we lost our cover we got beat more. It was bad. Anyway, the dude rolls in for inspection, walks up to the first dude in formation, and he pukes. However, this guy was a freaking genius. He puked down the t-shirt in his dress blues, saving the dude from getting puked on and us from getting beat even more. The division officer was so impressed at this dude's military bearing that he called the inspection right then and there. 5.0 sailors all around. We still got beat that night, but that guy was a hero. Standing in formation at Fort Knox about to head to the range and everyone needs their gloves. One private comes out without them and the DS screams, "Private, where the frick are your gloves?" in this thick Tennessee accent. He goes, "Well dang drill sergeant, I must have done left them some be upstairs." The DS, from New Jersey, just dies laughing. I'm sorry, that accent, I can imagine it so well, just freaking does it. OMFG. I was going through Air Force basic training and when on guard duty, if an unauthorized person wanted to be let into the bunks you had to report it to your drill sergeant. Our sister flight's drill sergeant came up while I was on guard and requested entry, so I reported to my sergeant and he had me ask the other a series of questions. This particular sergeant had a bushy mustache, so one question I had to ask was, in what year was Magnum Pi cancelled? He dropped out of view from the window laughing. Came back up and yelled it was never cancelled because I am still here. It took everything I had not to crack up. So when you start basic your body doesn't know how to handle no sugar, caffeine, rigorous exercise, and sleeping schedules, so it's in shock. With this shock, crapping becomes a problem for a few. Well, every DI after the first week is required to ask around if everyone has taken a crap, and from there he assigns one recruit to track who has crap and who has not. I crap you not, pun intended. We had one guy who would stand in the barracks at the end of the night rolling off names of people who hadn't crap yet. Finally, we have one guy who is still on there after 2 weeks and the DI tells him to go to the doctor. The doctor gives him a get out of jail free card, essentially saying that at any point, he says the magical words "I got a crap" and he can escape any situation. Well, recruit can't crap, we'll call him, gets the smart idea that he's going to play his new trump card as long as possible. Every time that we're getting grilled, "I gotta take a crap" comes ringing in from the back of the formation. This probably happened 6 times until our DI caught on. Finally our DI devises a plan that when recruit can't crap goes into the bathroom, he is going to have a couple of us hold onto his legs and slide him into the stall all Exorcist style. The time comes and recruit can't crap excuses himself. We all follow our DI into the bathroom and slide him under there like he's the spawn of Satan. This catches recruit can't crap by surprise. He doesn't know what the frick is going on as the DI is utterly berating him about lying and using this as an excuse to sit on the toilet. Then we hear a very audible "oh crap" from the stall. The DI scared the recruit so much he actually took a crap right then and there. The DI made every recruit look at it and we played taps for it as we flushed it down the toilet. Holy frick, we played taps for it. I'm actually going to die laughing. While in basic we had a female that loved to smile. She was just a happy person in general. Well, my TI, training instructor, came in and she caught the female trainee smiling. TI didn't like smiling. She walked up to the female trainee and yelled, "Wipe that smile off your face." Female trainee stopped smiling. The TI continued to yell, "No, literally wipe the smile off your face with your hand." Trainee does so. "Now throw it on the ground." Trainee follows orders. "Now stomp on it and scream 'die'. Smile 'die' as loud as you can." The female trainee stood there for a second before following through. Her tiny little voice cracks as she yelled die, smile die, and I will say it took everything I had not to bust out laughing. Had a guy in my Navy div, not really a big deal smiler, just his facial physiognomy. He looked like he was grinning. About the second phase of training, he made an effort to frown to stop the attention. At some point, the RDC asked him what he was smiling about. He responded with something like not smiling, petty officer, just ugly. An RDC in another division asked a guy if he shaved that morning and the guy claimed he had. The RDC said, recruit, you are either a werewolf or you are lying. So which is it? The guy responded, I must be a werewolf, petty officer. Not me, but I had a great team SGT who had a floater, wonky eye, that he was blinded from an injury in Iraq. So one eye was dead on and worked fine, but he had this one Uncle Ruckus eye that just did its own thing. He was a very physically imposing man with that classic drill SGT bass filled voice, and his crazy eye just added to it, and he knew it. He told a story about his time as a drill SGT when two privates had sat down on fire watch and were kinda just being real lackadaisical about their duties when he found them. So he starts just giving them the business, classic Full Metal Jacket style. And finally he just ending his rant right before he's about to smoke them for who knows how long, when one of the offending privates just says, drill SGT, are you yelling at us or the water fountain? It stopped him dead in his rage and he just walked away mid-knife hand. That could have gone very, very badly. A risky move that paid off. We weren't allowed to talk during chow at the galley. You had to point at what you wanted another recruit to pass, and they had to silently pass it. One recruit wanted a napkin and pointed. The other recruit asked this. The CC's, Coast Guard DS, immediately came over, circling him like sharks, screaming at him. They made him put like 10 saltines in his mouth and chew until his mouth was full. Then ask the first recruit if he wanted a napkin again. He barely could get it out, spitting pieces of cracker everywhere. Then they screamed at the first recruit to answer him, but we were all silently cracking up. Sounded like this. Phew, went a napkin. Pieces of saltines flying out. Answer him. Cracking up, almost crying. No, thank you. It was the best. I've heard good things about Coastie Basic. I was a super light sleeper during basic training. One night I woke up for no reason. The sleeping bay was dark except for the light by the desk where the two soldiers on fire guard were supposed to be awake and alert. Both of them were leaning back in their chairs dead asleep. I started to throw my covers off to go wake them up. If a drill sergeant came through and caught the fire guard sleeping, we'd all pay. But then I heard a slow scraping sound to my right, off in the darkness. I froze, and heard it again, closer. A few heartbeats later I almost screamed out loud as I saw the sharp, intense face of our Samoan drill sergeant in the darkness. His face was covered in full camo. He was low crawling underneath the line of bunk beds towards the fire guard. He had a bayonet in between his teeth. We locked eyes, and he silently raised one finger to his mouth, signaling for silence. I nodded, and sat back to watch the show as the drill sergeant resumed his low crawl under and past my bunk in the direction of the sleeping guards. I have a bunch of stories of funny crap I did to correct soldiers when I later became unco, but that image, like something straight out of an 80s war movie, will always stick with me. Mind telling us the ending? This shoot's too good. In Navy boot camp they call forced PT beatings. Everyone knows what a beating is. Navy doesn't have drill instructors, they call them RDCs, recruit division commanders. One day standing in ranks, the RDC is going around asking random trivia questions about a test we had to take to make sure we had been studying. He gets to a guy who was eccentric, to say the least. This is about a month and a half into boot camp. RDC asks the question, guys gets it wrong, so RDC yells, no wrong. Beat yourself. Literally everyone knew this meant start doing push-ups, so the expectation is he will start doing push-ups as the RDC moves to the next guy to ask a question. I was standing across from the guy and he had a confused look on his face. He looked at his own hand for 5 seconds, then hauled off and slapped himself in the face. It made a loud crack sound. He got himself good. I cracked and chuckled, trying to keep composure at attention. The RDC looked to me, then realized why I laughed had to do with the slapping sound. He turned back to self-slapping guy and asked him if he slapped himself. Guy says, you told me to beat myself. Cue the entire barracks cracking up. It was a single moment during boot camp where the curtain was raised and a moment of unadulterated levity came over everyone. The RDC couldn't stop laughing, so the tough guy butthole persona melted away for a good 60 seconds until he regained composure and made us all do push-ups. The push-ups were an easy price to pay for that moment. Those moments are so genuine. It was times like that that you felt human again. We had two 5 feet 1 inches stocky blonde guys named Johnson in our company one cycle. Different platoons. No relation at all, but they looked really similar. One day during grass week a couple J-hats made them face each other and go back and forth screaming, "You're not Johnson. I'm Johnson, no frick you. You're not Johnson, I'm Johnson." You have absolutely no clue how hard it was to not break into a million pieces after about 5 minutes of that. I'm Dirty Dan Boot Camp Edition. I work at basic training ranges and we had a drill SGT yell at his soldier while they were getting ready to go down a buddy live fire exercise. The soldier froze and started crying. This 18-YO kid was just in tears for getting yelled at. The DS yelled at him some more and he finally gave up cause this kid wouldn't stop crying. So he made him scoop tears off his face and put them in his pockets till he filled his pockets up with tears. He did this for like an hour. It was hilarious. In my basic training class I was a squad leader, which is essentially just a person who does extra chores. Anyways, for reasons unknown, myself and the other squad leaders were doing push-ups in the drill sergeant's office. Now when you do these push-ups you eventually reach muscle failure, so you just sorta hang out there in the front leaning rest and try to bust out another push-up every few seconds or so. We're all in there dying and the drill sergeant says to one of my buddies, "Private Hudson, tell me what's the difference between basic training and being in prison?" Without missing a beat, Private Hudson says, "Drill sergeant, in prison they get to watch TV." The drill sergeant cracked a little bit of a smile and then told us to get up and get out of there. Nothing like some extreme physical workout to get your brain firing. During Air Force BMT my flight was practicing marching one afternoon. As our flight was still fairly new, our marching was pretty terrible. One of the assistant TIs reamed us all out and then proceeded to awkwardly mock us by marching and walking like Jar Binks, while giving a spot-on impression. I'll never forget it. He just wanted an excuse to do the impression. Not a drill sergeant, but when I was in basic I saw 3 drill sergeants surrounding a private who was laying down, and they were all screaming, "Go the frick to sleep right now, private. You take a goddamn nap this very second, you poor tired soul." Not exact words, but you get the gist of it. I still wonder how he got himself into that predicament. Caught sleeping. Can guarantee. Better than chanting "stay awake, stay alive" for a couple hours. Not a DI, but I enjoyed watching this happen. On hikes my DIs loved having conversations using the recruits as messengers. The DI at the end of the formation would send a recruit to the front to give the DI up there a message and back. They would either have stupid conversations or talk trash using the recruit. This was something my wrestling coaches did at wrestling camp to make us run more. Eventually they ditched the facade and just made the person in back sprint to the front every time a whistle blew. During FTX, the DS told me to get a trash bag, then go around and collect as many pine cones as I could. For like 3 hours, had a bunch of trash bags. He then took a little walk around, contemplated for a bit, then said that he was mistaken and it looks better with pine cones. He ordered me to redistribute all the pine cones. One guy had a leaf on his ruck after an FTX and got the company smoke for stealing private property from federal lands. Everyone was laughing a bit, even the DS. We had this kid who kept pee himself. One day, after the range, he informs our DI that he had crap himself right after showers. Squad base starts to hold back laughter. DI, "It's not funny." Awkward silence. DI, "Okay, it's a little funny, but we aren't laughing." Man never cracked a smile during the whole thing. Buddy of mine told a story when he was at basic. One guy had said "yes mom" to the female DS earlier in the day, so when they were all lined up, she was going down the line, asking each person if they called her mom earlier. The guy who did was 4th in line, heard the 3 previous guys say, "No, drill sergeant," and then said in all seriousness, "No mom." I overheard her, "Yes, petty officer, yes, petty officer, yes, petty officer, oh okie dokie." Petty officer had to make a quick about face and flee before he busted up laughing. It was fantastic. In the academy, one of the DIs had a recruit doing push-ups. He told the kid he was going to do push-ups for 5 minutes straight, or something like that. As soon as the kid started, another DI approached the first DI and started arguing that the kid hadn't really fricked up that bad, and he didn't really deserve to be punished. After some back and forth, he agreed that the kid did indeed deserve to be punished. The first DI then said loudly that he had not checked his watch, so he would have to start the 5 minutes now. At that time another DI approached and started asking for mercy on the recruit, who was by now basically just humping the ground sweetly. It went on like that for a while. Good times. When I was in boot camp, our drill instructor had a recruit sit in front of his own reflection, stainless steel panel, and continually ask himself if he really wanted to be here for 3 freaking hours, all while screaming at him to mean it. And I don't believe you. I don't know how they didn't crack up. Was hilarious. One of my green belts had a recruit stand in the head in front of the mirror and point to his reflection and say, "I'm not crazy," then point to himself and say, "You're crazy." It went on for 45 minutes or so until our senior came in and put a stop to it. There was a dumbass in my basic that after firing he had his rifle up on his shoulder pointing the wrong way towards the DS, clearing it, with the mag still in. The DS, 6'8" bodybuilder, slammed the sucker into the sandbags screaming at him, and then the recruit had to lay prone in the dirt with holding a stick for a rifle periodically saying bang for the next 3 or 4 hours. Somehow he still graduated with us. A story from my perspective as a recruit in Navy boot camp. We had an inspection the following day, so our chief was going around inspecting inside everyone's rack to make sure it was squared away. Eventually he made it over to my section. He was checking the rack, bunk bed that opens up, beside me, and had it propped open so I couldn't see his face and kind of forgot he was there. He's searching through this guy's stuff and sees his small gloves, and he asks, "You know what they say about small gloves?" Now keep in my mind, I don't think any of my RDCs heard me talk until this point. And I said without any hesitation, "I know that's not true. I wear a size 12 boot, but I can tell you right now I don't have a size 12 dong." And my chief slammed the rack shut and looked at me. What the frick? He then stormed off into the fishbowl, and all you could hear was him trying to hold back his laughter in the office with the 2 petty officers. Obligatory, not RDC, but kind of similar. About 3 weeks into training, my class was getting measured for our khakis with one of our RDCs supervising. Somehow the topic of shoe sizes came up, and everyone in my class was size 10 or higher. Our chief piped up, "I'm an 8.5. Small feet may or may not be indicative of other things." "What's that disgusting crap all over your glasses, maggot?" "I believe it's your saliva." "Drill sergeant, sir." Closes eyes and waits for death. "Oh, he dead." Had 2 guys laugh when RDC walked in, so he had them stand almost noses touching each other. One would yell, want to hear a joke, and the other would yell, "Ha ha ha," repeatedly for hours. It was hilarious at first, but once their voices started to crackle it got old pretty quick. Dang, that is pretty funny. On day 2 of basic training at Lackland AFB, my flight was returning with our newly issued gear after having our heads shaved and other hurry up and wait task. Our TI told us to go upstairs and stand at attention by our beds. We ran up there tired after attempting to march what felt like 2 miles each way in the August Texas heat. We are all standing there waiting for whatever is going to happen next. After about 5 minutes, Donnie Barnes says that Sergeant Gates is in butthole. Am I right? And you would not believe what happened. As soon as Barnes said Gates, the locker directly behind Barnes pops open with a creak. Barnes is frozen solid. Out of the locker pops one leg after another, and the 3 taps a sergeant. Gates walks out of the locker and puts his mouth directly next to Barnes's ear and shouts in his gravelly voice, "On your father, as we did so many push-ups." Holy frick, I'd think the SGT was magical from that day forward. Wouldn't say crap about him even when I'm at home. Mother would crawl out of my closet on his tea, I swear. One recruit left his training guide just lying on his rack. My lead RDC decided this was punishable by making the recruit stand in the middle of our berthing, hold the training guide in the left hand, salute it with the right hand, and then bring it in and gently whisper, "I love you, training guide. I'm sorry I left you out. I'll never leave you lying around again. That crap was hilarious, especially because we were all put at attention while he did it for 45 minutes. First 5 minutes would have been gold, after that just boredom. Drill instructor made a recruit stand in front of a tree pointing saying I'm not funny, you are when he was caught laughing. The DI did actually laugh at that one. I feel like I'd be laughing even if I was the one talking to the tree. Early in boot and MCRDSD we were post shower and at attention for the hygiene inspection, wearing nothing but skivvies and t-shirts. The DI is walking the line checking fingernails and whatnot when one private's hard-on flops out of his skivvies right as the DI passes him. The DI stops, looks the private in the eye and says, "Private, I don't even like you, much less like you that way. Now put that goddamn thing away before IT goes off." The private in question turned purple with embarrassment and tries to stuff his boner back in his skivvies but is getting flustered as the DI starts yelling at him for being an incompetent private and that if he didn't get it stowed in 3 seconds the private would be taking a 10-minute cold shower. Things like, "Do I have to hose you down like an excited chihuahua? Should I call the vet? Good God, private, is that how you greet your mother at night? Stow your gear, goddammit." Every other private in line was trying not to laugh and the SDI had retreated to his office where we could hear him howling with laughter. The private finally gets his junk stowed and the DI resumes inspection, and you could see he was trying his damnedest not to bust out laughing. No one got much sleep that night. There were 2 men gigglers in their bunks and 2 men acquired one-liners. We had a TI and TI in training with us as we were marching to a class. Some people were out of step so the TI started screaming, "Don't you know your right from your left? Did the antenna fall off your house when you were a kid? Didn't your mommy and daddy let you watch 3-2-1 Contact?" The TI in training lost it. So did I. My flight's training TI was a spitting image of Eddie Murphy. Imagine Eddie Murphy teaching you how to about face. Not a DS but went to Army Basic. I was in the chow line not about looking at the back of the guy's head in front of me. All of a sudden I can feel one of my drill sergeants breathing on me over the separation wall and he yells, "Shia LaBeouf, WHO is your daddy?" To which I responded, "You are drill sergeant." My other DS sprints over and says, "Oh yeah, what does that make me then?" And all I thought to say was, "My mommy drill sergeant." Every DS in the chow hall was dying and I got the dog crap smoked out of me outside. I have plenty more stories either equally as funny or possibly even funnier. When I was an 8 to be a medic at Fort San we had to tote a line for bed check. Stand on a yellow line by your bunk in points shower shoes holding your ID card with your tags hanging out. We used to frick with each other hard in our bay and right before total line one of my buddies hid one of my shower shoes. So I'm in a rush and thinking frick. Okay, I'll just wear the one. So I'm standing at half attention in one flip flop and my bare foot is just kind of tucked away behind me. Our cardio for check comes up and just looks directly down at my feet, crosses his arms and says, "Shillaboof, what in Sam frick are you doing?" All I could get out to say was, "Sergeant, I could not find my other shower shoe for bed check," and I think he'd been saving this one because he started to smirk and just yelled, "God damn it, Shia LaBeouf, you are more ate up than a chocolate dong in a gay bar," triggering giggles and snickers all throughout the bay. Thankfully our school cadre were a lot more chill than drill sergeants. It's 2019, I can have 2 daddies. Drill sergeant. Story from my wife while she was in BCT. They are eating chow one day early on, maybe first or second day out of reception, and they hear a drill instructor yelling, "Why the frick are you eating salad with a spoon?" Apparently, in reception they had been told not to bother with forks since they had 5 minutes to eat their meals. Dude wanted a salad. He decided, frick it, I'm eating salad with a spoon. Hilarity ensued. Drill instructors let everyone know that not using forks is a dumb fricking rule and whoever told them that is fricking stupid. When getting to the depot you get rid of all personal items aside from your wallet, phone book, glasses, and religious items. It was second phase and we were drilling on the parade deck. We finish and are marching back to the house when our DI catches someone smiling. He says, "Oh good, something's funny, empty out your pockets." Recruit empties his pocket contents, a pen, knowledge card, and lo and behold he has a dollar bill. Our DI was dumbfounded and asked, "Why the frick do you have money? You going to a titty bar after this?" The recruit responded with, "I heard we get to use the vending machine if we do well." Whenever a recruit would bust butt, we would make them turn on the vacuum cleaner, which meant we would yell who the frick just crap themselves. This recruit is attempting to attack our olfactory sense. Platoon, turn on the vacuum, which would be followed by, turn on the vacuum aye sir, and then all the recruits would suck in through their mouth as hard as they could. However, one time, we had a recruit who immediately answered, when we asked who crap themselves, that this recruit crap himself sir. Turns out recruit Jones crap himself during a late night drill session in 3rd phase. By then recruits are disciplined, and almost always put the mission first, even if that mission is just executing left face, march without asking to go to the head. Poor kid sat in his own crap for almost 2 hours. Thank God I never pee myself. Not a DI. When I went through basic they gave everyone a flashlight with a lime green yellow thing on the bright end that you had to have with you in the morning for PT. Well, one individual forgot his when we all lined up in the morning and didn't say anything till we walked over to the PT pad. The TI began to berate him and tell him that he is a dumbass and run back to the bunks to retrieve the flashlight. Before he leaves the TI yells, if anyone stops you just tell them you are a dumbass. Well, the TI was across the street and saw him running back to the bunks and saw the trainee all by himself, so he starts laying into him. We could all hear him on the PT pad until the trainee got a chance to respond with sir, trainee so and so reports as ordered. I am a dumbass. The TI walked away and didn't say anything. I have another story about this exact airman. Near the end of basic training, depending on your TI, you might get what is called an amnesty hour. It's everyone who has been in basic with you and your TI basically talking to you like a normal person again. Well, our TI opened the floor for questions and the first kid to raise his hand was the kid who forgot his Lackland laser. During all of basic when I was there, a rumor was going around that a TI had posed for Playboy. Now it was a rumor, but no one could go on a computer to Google it cause it's BMT. The airman stood up and asked straight faced, sir, is it true a TI posed for Playboy? Our TI laughed and confirmed the rumor. Again sir, did you meet this TI? Our TI responds with no, but if I did I would be tapping that without missing a beat. This short skinny kid from Tennessee says thank you for not hitting it, so that the rest of us don't fall in it. I cried laughing. Lackland laser. Not a DS, but in basic 2005 we had a recycle come through with the last name Fu. DS's got a kick out of asking him to spell his name whenever they wanted to frick with us. The DS, spell your name PVT Fu. Poor sad hated soul. Drill SGT. FU drill sergeant. DS, commences destruction. My dad, who was an RDC, shrugs and says, oh, I laughed. Your hat is called your cover. It's the first day. I wanted some recruits from the back to the front to carry stuff. Get up here with your covers. They went and grabbed their sheets. I have to. We had a recruit night who just couldn't do anything right. He couldn't even put on cami paint. So we were out in the field and our DIs had him completely black his face with it. I'm talking his ears, inside his nose, even his lips. Then they made him walk around with another recruit whose name was also Night and happened to be black and point at him while saying recruit Night is as black as night. I saw quite a few other DIs chuckle at that. Then on our last day before graduation, our J-Hat came in and told us we were our Kill Hat's first actual platoon as a DI and he was going to wake us up on the morning of graduation. So he hatched the plan, and that morning when the Kill Hat came out and screamed get online, we all ran to the end of our tracks, but half of the squad bay was wearing togas and the other half was butt naked. He basically did a double take and busted out laughing, and then we all did push-ups for about 10 minutes. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.